MKUltra, the CIA's darkest experiment on the human mind. The CIA did not simply study mind control. It secretly drugged American citizens. It funded experiments that shattered human memories. It watched unsuspecting men lose control of reality from behind one-way mirrors. And when one of its own scientists died after being secretly given LSD, the truth was hidden from his family for more than 20 years. Then, before investigators could uncover the full scale of the program, the CIA destroyed most of the evidence. This is not a conspiracy theory. This is Project MKUltra, and the darkest parts of it may never be known. In the early 1950s, the United States was trapped in Cold War paranoia. American officials feared that the Soviet Union, Communist China, and North Korea had discovered ways to brainwash prisoners and force them to confess, betray their countries, or obey commands against their own will. On April 10, 1953, CIA Director Allen Dulles publicly warned of a new kind of conflict. He called it brain warfare. The battlefield was not a city. The target was not an army. The target was the human mind. Only 3 days later, Dulles formally approved MKUltra. The United States claimed it was defending human freedom from totalitarianism. Yet behind classified doors, its intelligence agency was preparing to violate the most intimate freedom a person possesses: control over their own consciousness. At the center of MKUltra was CIA chemist Sidney Gottlieb. He was not a movie villain. He appeared quiet, intelligent, and ordinary. But under his direction, the CIA began searching for techniques that could make a person reveal secrets, forget information, become confused, appear insane, or lose the ability to resist interrogation. Could drugs erase memory? Could hypnosis force someone to obey? Could a personality be broken apart and rebuilt? Could an enemy be discredited by making him behave irrationally in public? MKUltra was created to find the answers. It was not one experiment inside one secret laboratory. Recovered records revealed 149 sub-projects involving 185 outside researchers and assistants connected to 80 institutions. The network included 44 colleges and universities, hospitals, clinics, research foundations, pharmaceutical companies, and prisons. Some researchers knew they were assisting the CIA, others did not. The agency concealed its involvement through front organizations and secret funding arrangements. A scientist might believe he had received a normal research grant. A hospital might believe the money came from a private foundation. A patient might believe the doctor was trying to help. But behind the paperwork stood the CIA. Of all the substances examined under MKUltra, none fascinated the agency more than LSD. A tiny dose could distort time, identity, fear, and reality for hours. To the CIA, LSD appeared to be a possible chemical key to the human mind. But there was a problem. A real enemy would never volunteer to be drugged. Therefore, CIA officials argued some test subjects also had to be unaware. That decision turned secret research into human experimentation without consent. Ordinary citizens, prisoners, psychiatric patients, drug-dependent people, military personnel, and suspected agents were exposed to psychoactive substances. Some had no idea they were part of an experiment. They simply felt their world begin to collapse. One moment, they were drinking normally. The next, walls appeared to move. Faces became threatening. Time stopped making sense. Panic spread through their bodies, and they had no explanation for what was happening. In New York and San Francisco, the CIA established secret apartments where unsuspecting people could be observed. The San Francisco operation became associated with a name that sounded like a spy movie: Operation Midnight Climax. Women working as prostitutes were used to bring men into rooms controlled by the government. The bedrooms contained concealed recording equipment and one-way mirrors. CIA agents watched from the other side. The men could be secretly given LSD or other substances in their drinks. They never signed consent forms. They were never told that federal agents were watching them lose control of reality. The operation was overseen by federal narcotics agent George Hunter White. This was not legitimate medical science. The conditions were uncontrolled and the observers were not qualified researchers. But the CIA gained something it considered valuable: practice in secretly drugging people without being detected. The exact number of victims remains unknown. Records were either never created or later destroyed. Some people may have lived their entire lives without discovering why one ordinary night became a psychological nightmare. Then came the death of Frank Olson. Olson was an Army scientist who worked at Fort Detrick, the center of America's biological warfare research. On November 19, 1953, he attended a meeting with CIA and Army personnel at a retreat in Maryland. During that meeting, a CIA officer secretly placed LSD into a bottle of Cointreau. Olson drank it without knowing. Only after the drug began taking effect were the men told their drinks had been altered. Over the following days, Olson suffered a severe psychological crisis. He became anxious, frightened, and increasingly unstable. The CIA took him to New York, supposedly to receive psychiatric help. Days later, Olson fell through a closed window on the 13th floor of the Statler Hotel and died. His death was officially treated as suicide. But the CIA did not tell his family that he had been secretly given LSD. That truth remained hidden for more than 20 years. In 1975, the government finally admitted the drugging, and President Gerald Ford met Olson's family. The family later believed that Olson might have been killed because he knew too much about secret CIA and biological warfare operations. No court has definitively established that he was murdered, but three facts are beyond dispute. The CIA drugged him without consent, he died days later, and the agency concealed its role from his family for decades. Some of MKUltra's most horrifying experiments occurred at the Allen Memorial Institute in Montreal, Canada. There, psychiatrist Donald Ewen Cameron developed a process called depatterning. He believed a damaged personality could be erased before a new one was created. Patients who entered the hospital seeking treatment could be placed into prolonged drug-induced sleep, exposed to LSD, subjected to intense electroshock, and forced to hear recorded messages repeated for hours or days. Cameron called the repetition psychic driving. Some patients later suffered devastating memory loss. They reportedly forgot their families, their professions, and basic skills they had possessed for years. The CIA funded Cameron's work through a front organization called the Society for the Investigation of Human Ecology. The agency wanted to discover whether a human personality could be erased and rebuilt. It never proved that it could install a new controllable personality, but it proved how easily a human mind could be destroyed. MKUltra went far beyond LSD. Its sub-projects examined hypnosis, electroshock, sensory deprivation, sleep disruption, alcohol, psychological stress, amnesia-producing substances, aerosols, toxins, and covert drug delivery methods. Some projects even studied the techniques of stage magicians, because misdirection could help an operative place a substance into someone's food or drink without being noticed. By 1963, CIA inspectors were raising serious concerns about ethics, legality, and the rights of American citizens. The original program was reduced, although related work continued on their successor projects. Then, In January 1973, CIA Director Richard Helms authorized the destruction of MKUltra records. Sidney Gottlieb carried out the order. Files were torn apart and destroyed. When Congress later investigated CIA abuses, officials claimed they could not remember crucial details. The names of countless victims were gone. The full number of experiments was gone. Evidence that might have established responsibility was gone. In 1977, several boxes of financial records were discovered only because they had been stored in the wrong location. Those accidental survivors exposed the enormous network behind MKUltra, but they could not reconstruct everything that had happened. The CIA never created the perfectly programmed assassin imagined in Hollywood. It never discovered a reliable method for completely controlling another person's mind. But MKUltra was not truly a failure. It proved that respected institutions could be secretly manipulated. It proved that doctors and scientists could violate human beings when protected by national security secrecy. It proved that ordinary citizens could become laboratory animals without ever knowing it. And it proved that when the truth threatened the institution, the evidence could disappear before the victims even learned they existed. The darkest secret of MKUltra is not that the CIA discovered how to control the human mind. It is that in trying to control it, the agency stopped seeing its victims as human. And because the files were destroyed, America may never know how many minds were broken, how many lives were destroyed, or how many victims were erased from history before anyone could learn their names.